Right now, rain moves into Galveston ahead of Tropical Storm Nicholas. This video just into our newsroom from the coast tonight. Our Steve Campion shooting this video. He will join us in just a few minutes live from the island. And we've gotten new information on the forecast for the track of Tropical Storm Nicholas. Let's begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Travis Herzog. He has the latest information. Travis?
And Tom, we're digesting this in real time because this literally just got issued by the National Hurricane Center. What we can tell you right away is that the hurricane watch has been extended eastward into Freeport, and the tropical storm warning has been extended eastward into High Island. This information is so fresh it's not yet into our computer system, so there's going to be some modifications to the watches and warnings I'm about to show you. The track has also shifted, been nudged a little bit off to the east. So the wind speeds are still sustained at 40 miles per hour. It's still getting hit with wind shear. So that wind shear coming from the south is blowing the deeper storms off to the north. That wind shear is supposed to relax even more overnight. And we might even see the center try to reform like it did earlier today when it reformed about 50 to 100 miles north of the previous location. And these are the kinds of things that can impact the track and the path in a developing tropical system. So without a well-defined core, there could still be some shifts left or right, and that could greatly change the impacts that you will get in your neighborhood based on projections you may have seen earlier today. As it stands right now, they do show this nearing hurricane intensity as it prepares for a landfall sometime Monday night into Tuesday morning. This is now the new center cone track, which has shifted a little bit to the east. It was aimed more towards Matagorda Bay. Now it's more into deeper parts of Matagorda County, and there's more of a bend in the track. The good news is they are still expecting this to continue pushing off to the east instead of stalling out. Now, it's still possible that there could be a slowdown or a stall, but we're seeing more and more data to indicate that this thing wants to keep on moving, even if it's not moving very quickly, and that would help reduce the overall amount of rain that could fall. Zooming down a little bit closer on that track, this is kind of the zone that's outlined here between Matagorda Bay and Galveston Bay for the potential of the winds and the surge. And again, we just got some new data, or the new update saying that that hurricane watch has now been extended past Sargent all the way to Freeport, so that's central Brazoria County. As it takes that more eastward track, if that's what it ends up doing, it'll have a little bit more time over water, and that means those of you along the coast could get some of those hurricane force winds in addition to some surge. And here's that new track. Earlier, the track was about right here, and most of the computer model projections were off to the east, so they've gone ahead and nudged their forecast track a little bit off to the east as well. Now, one of the big concerns with this farther inland is going to be that potential for flash flooding. This is tugging in a tremendous amount of tropical moisture. In fact, we're already getting rains, and we're 400 miles north of the center, and those rains will continue off and on through the night and through the day on Monday. If you're in the green counties, and that includes Harris County, Galveston County, areas south and east, we're looking at 8 to 16 inches of rain to be common, with some spots, especially near the coast, getting over 20 inches of rain, and most of that's going to fall Monday night through the day on Tuesday. Here's future track just to get us through the next few hours. We will have an initial band of wave of rain come ashore, but then it dissipates, but a new one gets going for that morning drive tomorrow. It could get really messy for the morning, and then again as we get into the afternoon. So expect times of rain off and on tomorrow, but the really significant rains that could cause widespread flash flooding, those begin to arrive tomorrow night. So we still might be able to go about our business driving through the rain tomorrow. Still under a flood watch, but it's really tomorrow night that we want you to pay careful attention and be prepared wherever you go to sleep Monday night to potentially be stuck there all day on Tuesday. And here's a look at those latest rainfall projections. Notice a big variation from an inch northwest of Houston to 20 inches near the coast. We don't know exactly how these accumulations will fall just yet because, again, the center keeps reforming, and that means the path will adjust. If it keeps on that eastward track, we would see these rain totals, the heavier ones, shift off out into the Gulf of Mexico, so that it remains a distinct possibility. So as we go through the day on Monday, widespread rains begin. Monday night, heavy rain, the wind, the surge, all those will peak sometime Monday night into Tuesday morning. And then as the winds start to wind down a bit on Tuesday, we will still have that heavy rain and flash flood potential. Now, coming up in your full forecast, I'll be joined by meteorologist Rachel Bryars. She's going to be breaking down some of the different scenarios that could happen if it goes on the east side of the cone versus the west side of the cone. We'll look at those rainfall projections where we're most likely to experience flash flooding. And for those of you along the coast, we'll have a breakdown of your chances of getting those stronger tropical storm and hurricane force winds. Stick around.
Travis, thank you. Now, we are already getting some school closings ahead of Tropical Storm Nicholas. The list getting longer by the minute. Brazosport, Sweeney, LaPorte, Clear Creek, Santa Fe, Dickinson, Friendswood, Hitchcock, and Texas City ISDs are all closed Monday. Brazosport College also closed. At this point, Houston ISD says campuses and district offices are open on Monday. We will, of course, alert you if there are any schedule changes, both on air and online. You can also get the latest closing and delay updates on the ABC13 News app and at abc13.com/closings. Now at 10, the reality of Tropical Storm Nicholas beginning to set in for people along the coast in southeast Texas. We have crews in Houston and in Galveston getting the latest on the storm preparations. Let's begin on the coast tonight with Steve Campion. He's live in Galveston where final preps are already being made to clear the beach. Steve.
Exactly, Tom. We already got a heavy shower here within the past 15 to 20 minutes. Crews spent much of today, Sunday, clearing away anything from the sand that might get caught up in that high surf. Listen, people here on the island and many people on the mainland know these storms can be unpredictable, but I think this is the message that sums it up best. Right outside the Gumbo Diner here on the Sunday evening, storm, storm, go away.
As Old Glory and the Lone Star flag stood strong in Sunday's high winds, it didn't take long to spot crews on Galveston Island in storm prep, hauling away lifeguard stands.
It's really dark skies, really windy. I mean, the waves are up, but it's nice, warm, a little creepy.
We spoke with this couple from Arkansas celebrating 10 years of marriage. They're hoping to leave on a cruise tomorrow.
Just hoping that this doesn't get too bad and then the cruise can still go out on time, because we've been waiting over 2 years now to go on a cruise. So.
I don't want to go out on the seas and have a rocky ride, but I mean, we paid, so we're going.
Others we caught up with didn't even realize Tropical Storm Nicholas is now churning in the Gulf.
I didn't even know about Tropical Storm Nicholas. I was really wondering why it was so windy outside, but I was still trying to enjoy my day at the beach. But hearing that there's a storm in the Gulf makes a lot of sense.
At the least, we're looking at a bunch of flooding around the island and in the areas adjacent to the island. And worst case, we're looking at potentially a Cat 1 hitting us, so we kind of want to be ready for the full gamut.
Chief Peter Davis leads Galveston Island Beach Patrol. He said flooding with any of these tropical storms remains the big concern.
If the tides are really high, which they may be in this situation, the drainage can take longer. And so, you can have pretty good flooding up there on the mainland, and it doesn't drain for a few days. Whereas on the island, you get 24 hours, it's going to drain off.
Tonight, we all wait and see what Mother Nature may bring.
And you can tell weather's coming. It's not going to be pleasing, but you can tell we're going to have some heavy rains.
In Galveston, Steve Campion, 13 Eyewitness News.
You heard reference to the mainland. Well, here on the mainland, Houston city officials also closely monitoring the storm's track, and ABC 13's Brooke Taylor has that part of our coverage on this Sunday night. Brooke?
The main concern, as we've been talking about, is that flash flooding, Tom. Now, officials here in Houston and Harris County are asking drivers to pay attention. Tomorrow, they're going to be setting up barricades in certain areas, and they ask you to drive around them. Also, as it gets dark tomorrow, as it is right now, to be extra careful and pay attention to that, because the water can get deeper as it looks, as we've seen in the past.
I want to bring you the latest on Tropical Storm Nicholas.
Officials warning people to pay attention to Tropical Storm Nicholas. The main concern is flooding through Wednesday. Some Houston residents say they're not too worried. It's just part of the territory.
You always have a concern with the weather, but you kind of adapt and you get used to it.
This is something we see probably more often than we'd like to, but we know how to deal with it.
Mayor Turner, though, urging people to not let their guards down.
Just because you don't hear hurricane, it could be a system developing in the Gulf, and what we have seen, these systems can really accelerate very, very quickly. And what may appear to be, for example, 1 inch of rain could easily be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or more.
That's exactly why the city is already stepping up precautions. Turner says the Office of Emergency Management will be activated in the morning. Public Works will be putting up barricades in low-lying areas. In Harris County, it's also all hands on deck.
Elevated tides.
Harris County meteorologist Jeff Lidner says the Emergency Operations Center will be activated at a level 3. That's the second to lowest level.
The main situation is going to be the direction of emergency resources into areas where we need to get those resources, specifically with first responders and county precincts, airboats and dump trucks and things like that.
Lidner says they are in close communication with the National Weather Service and the Army Corps of Engineers. The county also in contact with the state if there's more resources needed. I'm Brooke Taylor, ABC 13, Eyewitness News.
And make sure you have the ABC13 News app downloaded so you can check the radar and get weather alerts sent straight to your phone or other device. That's also where Travis, Rachel, and the rest of our weather team bring you streaming updates on Nicholas.